between, according to the documents that are in front of us tonight, if need be, between us in Littlestown and the Gettysburg Area School District, we have over 50%. So I would be quite comfortable with partnering with Gettysburg to try to work this through. I mean, this needs some work.
But I'll just make a remark, if that's okay, Mr. President. Last Monday, the Gettysburg School District approved this recommendation that we're looking at here tonight by a vote of 7-2.
Okay.
I was one of the 2 members that dissented from that vote. We had the executive director there in person, and I'd be happy to invite Sean here in person if you would like me to for next Monday. I can't guarantee his availability. I know, and I agree with Mr. Yorger, as if you can humanly be there on Thursday night at Gettysburg High School auditorium, I would highly recommend that you try to be there. I have not spoken to anybody in Adams County on a board or community member that is against career and technical education. We're all in on that, I believe. We see the need for it. We're turning away 150 kids a year in Adams County that would like to get that education and become, skilled in the trades, which is greatly needed, no doubt about it. So I think what Mr. Yorger suggested about having those questions in advance would be great. My rationale, and I explained to my board why I voted no on this, was mostly regarding the stipend for the superintendent of record, and nothing against that person. I just wanted to see a listing of performance responsibilities so I could feel a little bit better about setting a precedent on that stipend, which is fairly significant for 5 school districts. York School of Technology, 14 schools, a very large school, all the things that are involved with that. I get why a superintendent of record deserves a stipend there. I'm just not sure where we're at right now, and being part of the Gettysburg School Board, I'm just not sure it's really justifiable. But I got outvoted, so I'm moving on with the rest of the board. But I do plan to be there Thursday night, and I plan to be listening and asking some questions in advance. I know they're not planning on doing Q&A afterwards. We're a little disappointed about that. But at least we can get our questions in advance, and we can at least maybe get most of our board members who are passionate about this interest, at least on a level playing field where we have the same information. So that part I think will be good. I'm just really anxious about trying to move this forward somehow, some way, because it's sorely needed in the county.
Agreed.
Okay. 26, 27, I'm sorry, 2026, 2027 capital projects. Tom, do you want to talk about that?
Yes, so at FPS, the committee agreed to push forward the 2 or 3 projects. It would be annual maintenance, which is something we have every year, the replacement of security cameras here at Alloway Creek, and the replacement of the fire alarm system at transportation. The other items that are paused until the walkthrough are replacing the carpet at district office and parts of ACES, seal coating and painting behind ACES, the playgrounds, and looking at potentially reconfiguring the parent loop here at ACES. So those are all paused until the committee walks through, and we'll discuss that at the November meeting if they make it through to the full board or not.
Okay, Tom, I want to step in here. Oh. Questions? Yeah. So when we're talking about the security cameras, I attended the FPNS meeting, I watched the presentation. I have a bit of concerns because I went back and looked at the 10-year capital projects plan, and this was never on it.
This came about last year in between when the approval was for capital projects last year to this year. So the 10-year plan is always a year-to-year basis plan, and at any year something become obsolete or we identify something that escalates up the plan. Last year it was identified that ACES cameras, and this was the first opportunity that FPNS and the board
give us some ideas on the annual maintenance and repair, just so we can be very clear?
Yeah, so typically it's roof maintenance, so if a
Okay.
leak would come through flashing, that comes to caulking.
Normal yearly maintenance, I noticed, right?
Correct, yep.
Just trying to get an idea of what you're doing.
Yep, that's something he just puts through as a line item cost for those types of small end repairs to all the buildings when they do a walkthrough.
And the replace maintenance, the transportation fire alarm system, I have a big problem with that since we got rid of our buses, and that building is relatively empty. As far as we don't have a mechanic, we don't have, I mean, I know we have Laura Mace, I get it, and probably Victor Truman, I get it.
And his admin assistant and 2 maintenance people and 3 grounds people.
Wait, I thought Christ was gonna use our break room and they were still gonna use
Correct.
things if they need maintenance.
Correct, but our employees are still 3 grounds people, 2 maintenance.
But
Victor.
but what I'm saying, for,
Equipment
Yeah.
storage.
so what Dwayne's saying, we are still
And
using the
supplies.
building for other things, when
Yeah,
Christ
the-
needs to use
The
it.
building is quite full of either supplies or people.
Is Christ using it?
They use the bathrooms and the break room, they clock in and out, they meet with Laura, so they are frequently in and out in use of that building.
So there's no monetary value we're getting out of them using it, other than they're driving the buses?
No,
It
we
was
do
in the
have a
contract.
monetary value on the use of our lot and our facilities. but
Oh,
we
you
don't-
do? Okay, so it's not just the fuel?
No, correct, we also added up a fee to use our staging on it.
Because it seems to me, and this is the way I was thinking about it, I didn't know so many people were over there, it's like putting a chandelier in a condemned building. I mean, since we did move to outsource our buses, and all of a sudden, we're gonna spend $26,000 to put smoke detectors in. And I get the safety issue, I do get that, but to me, it just seemed like, you know, like buying new bus tires after we sold buses. You know, I just couldn't, I can't even fathom the thought process there.
The building's so very much more.
Is that our main, only maintenance building? I mean, for like our lawnmowers and stuff?
For
or-
Yeah.
transportation and maintenance building.
Yep.
So is that where they put the mowers and ground
Yeah,
equipment?
so all the grounds equipment's there, all of our maintenance supplies are there, all of our custodial supplies are there. Overflow, so municipal items for storage, if you have a lot of
It's a
equipment.
functional building.
Good, that makes,
It's a lot of open space, but it's all the items the district uses.
Okay, any other thoughts? On the payment of invoices, general fund, I just, from 1 through 7, does anybody want to talk about any of that?
I just want to ask Tom about the capital projects. This Brian Scott Bingaman, what baseball, softball group?
That is turf tracking court, he was that representative that he gets paid for that.
For,
That's turf tracking court, that's just the name, so when it says the vendor name, it's still on turf tracking court, just that the name that shows up is his name specifically. It's
no, but I
mentioned
mean,
in
what is it for?
The athletic, remember we approved him to do design of the athletic
So that's
spaces.
back in November of last year?
Yeah, these are progressive payments.
Okay, so we just approved almost 40,000 recently.
This is the progressive payments to get up to that point. He has to hit certain milestones before we pay him to do items.
So this is coming back as part of the 40,000.
Correct. We're still accumulating up to that point.
So we're going to see this periodically.
Correct. Up until bid day, and then we would finalize his contract for bid day.
So these are already approved and budgeted expenses that are just, we're just now seeing the invoices for.
Yeah, we get periodic invoices and they hit, and this is a monthly approval of that invoice.
Well, when we approved it, well, most of the board approved the 40,000, and I'm gonna say 40,000, let's just put it there, because that's about what it was. Doesn't that cover this?
That is this. This payment is part of that.
But why are we
40,000.
approving the 40,000 a couple meetings ago, now we're approving this?
Because that's approving
He
for
gets-
us to do it. This is
Oh,
now
okay.
approving that we gave him a check.
Oh, okay, so that's how you delineate it, okay, good, all right. I just wanted to better understand why we're dividing it up after we already,
Yeah, so we set the amount and now we're paying him incremental payments until he meets.
so the other one was just to set the amount, okay?
Correct.
I assumed it was a payment, so let's, it was a 20,000, it was close to 20,000 each, or around 20,000 each. Okay.
Steve, are you done with your report?
I'm done with my report.
Good.
Don has questions.
You have questions?
Actually, I have a lot of questions on this particular document. So, I don't know if it's allowed, are we allowed to meet with staff, like, at another point in time, so it doesn't take up so much time this evening, or?
Yeah.
How does, what's the protocol.
We'll arrange a meeting for us and, for you and Mr.
Okay, what's
Schoenmaker.
I would say, just what's the context of the question?
I have about 10 questions on each page of this document.
Which document? That's,
Well, I thought, I'm
Is it the
sorry,
general-
I
is
thought
it
they
the
were on the
general
accounting
funds?
payment schedule.
yeah, 1 through 7, so I'm just curious which.
She's saying which one of these, which one did you print out?
Well, okay, so it's the fund accounting payment summary. It's the fund account, all right, wait a minute, this one's the, sorry, general fund checks,
Okay.
cafeteria fund checks, student activity checks, capital project checks, I'm good on that one.
So all of them. I just
Well,
wanted.
almost, I mean, not necessarily.
So in-
Student activity checks is not our money, it's the students' fundraising, they fundraise and then they spend it, so.
Have you scheduled your meeting with Dr. Moyer yet?
I have.
When is that?
Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
As long as you can meet with them this
So
week before we vote.
can we arrange for a meeting for Tom to be included sometime
What
Wednesday?
time?
I think it's, Carrie, I think it's 11 or 11:30.
We'll handle those scheduling matters after the fact, and we will definitely get you in to
Okay.
ask those questions prior to.
Thank you, so I'll say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if there's anything you need to bring up before we vote, do it during discussion, that you
We don't vote
discover.
on one.
Right, so when you meet with them, if there's something that comes out that you want the whole board to know, when we do discussion on Monday, that's when you bring it up.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. I'm going to try to be a little bit more expeditious during my part here. Personnel. Items A, B, C, D are all the typical personnel actions that we do every month. Are there any questions on those? Hearing none.
Well, Nick, just one generic question. I have concerns, and I know you've all told me this probably before, but why are we seeing so many resignations around the sports?
People decide not to do it.
Okay, is that what it is? I mean, it's kind of concerning. Are we getting any influx to replace these people?
I think that for almost all of the, I mean, we have yet to, I believe, cut a sports program for a lack of a coach. Would that be correct, Dr. Becker and Mrs. Golden?
Yeah, correct.
So, I mean, we replaced those coaches. So, and like some of these are junior high assistant coaches and things like that. I mean, they'll be able to find replacements.
And I know we can't get into the teacher aid to the classroom
That we.
without going into executive session.
Right. And item E is also, we will need to discuss that in executive session. I'll just say that what this request is for is guaranteed to this person under the collective bargaining agreement. And so the board needs to hold up our end in case it goes through that. If there are questions about that, we can discuss it in an executive session. Item F, I'm going to yield that to Dr. Piazza.
Yes, well, as it says, a student in the middle, in the middle support class who needs a personal care assistant, which needs an additional personnel because the student, you know, we have significant behavioral needs and mainly behavioral needs, mental health needs, and we need to continue to support our students here in the building. So we work with our students and develop behavioral plans and change and repeat and try things, and the next step would be for the student to have a personal care assistant to be able to go out into regular ed and successfully access the curriculum. So in order to do that, we need to have somebody with the student, so it would be an additional personnel.
Questions?
And I consulted our solicitor on this too, and she also advises that we move forward with the PCA.
This BCA is not in existence now.
Correct.
This would be an additional position.
Okay, now, we'll just concentrate on MAMS. This additional position would be also equaling what do we have there now in MAMS, comparable to this, emotional support wise. assistant position, so this person will be assisting what we have in
This
Mansfield.
would be a personal care assistant for a student.
Oh, for a student,
Yes.
oh, okay, okay.
It's a
For
one-to-one
one
person.
student.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Based
I'm
on their-
misunderstanding,
yeah.
okay. Okay, I thought that one of our people needed help.
No.
Okay, so it's a student,
Yes.
okay. I see. And was this permanent? I mean, the student wouldn't be, but
Well, for as long as the student needs the assistance, our goal
Okay,
is
so
to
it's-
always work through.
it's specifically for the student?
Correct.
Okay, okay.
This would be under the support staff agreement. What's the approximate annual cost?
That off, I don't know off the top of my head, the annual cost.
I don't have that one on the page.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't wanna tell you a wrong answer.
Okay, if we can send that to the board this week.
Yeah,
or tomorrow.
yeah, we could have that for, I just don't wanna give you an inaccurate number.
I'm assuming we don't have any other PCAs that we could reassign or any other staff available to help. So I think that one of the things that we have to do is give all of our students a free and appropriate public education, and if we're not meeting their needs, that could result in some potential liability on our end.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if this is required by the student's IEP under IDEA, if you don't offer this, you don't provide them faith, you could have due process commitments and issues. So if it's necessary for the student, the IEP team is determined that it's appropriate.
And that's what's occurred?
Correct.
Okay.
So this would fall in line with like the autism. It's directed straight at certain students. This would be one student, but I mean, I'm not trying to correlate them together, but we obviously knew we had to do an autism class, so this would be directed towards one student under the same sort of kind of process, okay?
Donna, you had a question?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
At what point, Dr. Fiaschi, what point do we get to when we possibly review, when we know the students' services that are required for their IEP, do we ever get to a point in the process where we're like, okay, we've put this staff member in place, we've done this service, we've added this additional service? Do we ever get to a point where we're like, okay, we're gonna review all of this and see if private placement might be less expensive?
Well, we go through all the steps, you know, and we're going through all our steps that are appropriate for the students. And yes, when we get to a point and we've exhausted everything we have, and we have all our data, and we have everything to show that we've done everything and we can't make any progress.
Sure.
So we meet as a team and say, as a team, what's the next best suited for this student?
In this particular situation, I don't need details, but in this particular situation, we have not got to that place yet, correct? Perfect, thank you.
Because we want to keep our kids here.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I
Yeah, great.
find previously with your reports that it's cheaper to have them here
Here.
than it is to send them out. I must say that because I've actually listened to you many a times about that, and it was actually cheaper to keep them here. So I just want to make that point too. I get it. I mean, it's too expensive to bus them and everything else. It does make more sense. That's why the autism class had to be done, but still, I get the point.
And item G is just the typical overnight out-of-state trips.
Tournament trips,
All future dated.
I think we have an awesome wrestling team.
always have, or at least recently.
So, that's gonna,
Just so they know, we'll be adding the golf on here yet, once we get the information back.
that'll be in italics. Moving on to CCMP, anybody have any questions on the policies? Go ahead, Don.
I have a question on this one, on 317, under employees. It's just a little awkward. The board directs that all district employees shall be informed of conduct that is required and is prohibited during work hours. So it's just kind of awkward. I understand what we're trying to do. Required and is prohibited during work hours.
What page is that on?
It's the very first page on policy 317.
About delegation of responsibility.
paragraph 3 under authority.
So,
I think it's,
go ahead.
so this is the language that's given to us by PSBA, and they're looking at what conduct we, like, so our code of conduct here at school that is required, our code of ethics is what they're alluding to without spelling that all out, like the different PA guidelines, policies, code of ethics, all of those. So the conduct that's required, and also then the conduct that's prohibited from being.
Basically,
Work
yeah,
hours.
that's what I was assuming, is that we have some kind of handbook or documentation that we provide, like a code of conduct that.
In the teacher handbook, we go through the different code of conducts. We even, new teacher induction, we go through all of that with them.
And just to weigh in on this, so the school code sections that are cited there, citations 3 and 4, that's section 510 of the school code and 514. 510 is the board's just general authority, okay? And 514 is the, provides basic levels of due process for all public school code employees. So this language here doesn't cause me any concern. It's consistent with what we see in a lot of school district policies. But the reason that we have to have that directive is notions of fairness, due process for employees. If there's going to be any discipline or misconduct, they have to know what is expected of them, but also what is prohibited conduct. And the same thing would apply, say, for example, if there's not a compensation hearing, if there's not a known or rule that an employee violated or terminated, then they could get unemployment compensation, and the district would have to pay for that. So I don't have any concerns with that language. Admittedly, maybe it's an hair clunky, but I don't even think we're amending that here. I think the district has had it in its policy for some time, so it's not concerning to me.
Does anyone feel that we should include HIPAA in this on page 2?
HIPAA doesn't apply to school districts.
Oh.
For as far as students are concerned, are you on page 2 though?
Well, this is employees though, we're talking about.
Oh,
employees.
yeah, I'm sorry, excuse me.
And then, also, on page 2, should we include that the board has the final decision on recommended action from superintendent or his or her designee? Because it speaks similar to that.
Sorry, where are you?
Second page of policy 317,
Which paragraph?
bottom paragraph of the page, second page.
The concern is?
Should we include that the board has the final decision in recommending and on recommended action from the superintendent or his or her designee?
It says that the appropriate action shall be recommended to the board. So I think that language would go into, there would be other policies that state the board's authority and powers to do all of those things.
Board hearing. It also talks about board hearing.
Okay, all right.
That's a highly regulated process anyway. So
Okay.
I'm not too concerned about that.
Yeah, I think the policies that they were violated has the right language.
And to your point about HIPAA, paragraph 11 there on page 2 says applicable federal law. I think it would be subsumed there, but at the same time, we're not a healthcare provider or a healthcare clearinghouse or any other one. There's 3 types of entities that are HIPAA covered entities, and the district is generally not one. We may have some HIPAA protected information through an FMLA form or things like that, but generally speaking, I'm not concerned about that.
Okay. I only have one left, and that's the very last one. It's under the conflict of interest. Do you want me to hear that?
Go ahead.
Okay. So my concern with that, and I brought it to your attention, the board's attention, a little while ago. My understanding is that we came to the conclusion that because I guess it's state law that it says it's $250, we'll have to include it in our legal documents or financial disclosure forms. Excuse me, financial disclosure forms. But in the interest of ethics, which conflict of interest would kind of fall under ethics. So in the interest of ethics, even a mere appearance of a conflict of interest can be pursued as an ethical problem. So I I would just ask the board if they would reconsider lowering the $249 amount that is in here. The third page, it says the value less than or equal to $249 of a value less than or equal to $249. So $249 is a lot of money, just in my opinion. And I don't know a lot of school boards that have it that high, but nonetheless, even if they do, and even if you were technically to be required to report financially at $250, the appearance of someone receiving something from a company or a contracted entity or what have you, it could possibly infer a conflict of interest. So I would like to see us just consider lowering that to, maybe $50, $25 or $50. I mean, I think it's over.
That was the solution.
Yeah, no, so there, I think Attorney Dalton worked with Dr. Berrigan in my office on this, and Judy's jump in if I misphrase this, but the question was, how do you define nominal value there? And Lee and one of our associates put together a memo looking at the definition of nominal value, and it isn't clearly defined. So with that, it's a local decision for your policy. Is that consistent?
Yes,
Yeah.
and so I had shared at the CCMP committee meeting that they could pick an amount, or that part of the consultation was also, I don't want to say a safe amount, but to keep it under that $250 that you have to already submit in your financial forms every year. So I said to Nick, and when we were building the agenda and doing policy review, and then in CCMP, you can pick a number because it's not defined, or it needs to be under that threshold of the 250. So, I mean, that's completely up, that's a board decision, what you want that to be.
So you don't want to leave it at nominal value, you want to actually define a value.
Well, that was the request in
Right.
public comment.
That's what I'm saying.
At our last month CCP meeting from a now
Sorry.
sitting board member.
It was very
No,
Um, and
so I'm
so
saying,
we
like-
tabled it, we set a value that was
Right.
recommended by the solicitor, and that's the value that's there. So I would say if,
So the solicitor was the one that recommended the $249?
So they had two recommended. Well, one, you could just leave it as nominal, was one, or you could just pick an amount,
Okay.
like the 50, 100, 25, whatever. You could decide, and you could still decide what it
Yeah,
is.
sure.
But the other recommendation was not to go above. If you're gonna pick an amount, don't pick anything above 250.
Okay. So, does anyone else have any strong concerns about this? If not, I'll just be quiet. I don't mind.
I've never gotten a gift, so it doesn't really matter to me.
I mean, I certainly, $249 to me seems pretty high. I mean, it's a number. It's better than nominal, because nominal just is like, we don't know. You pick
have you
one.
gotten any $249 gifts?
I'll never get any gifts. As a matter of fact, I'll spend $249 of my own money just to go home. So you know what I mean? So I'll have to worry about
So
that.
if it provides any helpful context here, this is a section of the policy that talks about, accepting even if it's unsolicited. But if you go into the next section there about improper influence, if you're accepting anything of monetary value, it doesn't say nominal, but anything of monetary value in an attempt to influence your role as a board member, that's clearly prohibited, right? So I think this is designed more to cover the unsolicited. Someone says, hey, thanks for all your service on the school board, here's a fruit basket, like those types of things. And setting a threshold like that keeps the board out of trouble because you didn't solicit, it wasn't for improper influence. But if someone